Welcome back to another UCL Fantasy video. This will be the second leg of the semi-finals, match day 12. Only 2 match days left, and if you still got the wild card, I mean, you only have 2 options and use it now or in match day 13. It's a team-dependent question. I'd probably use it in match day 13 in most cases, but remember, you only have 3 transfers in the second leg. So if you want to make 4, 5, or 6 changes, maybe even more, then of course use it now. It is a team-dependent thing, and you don't have many options. Regardless, if you've got both the Limitless and the wild card, you forgot to use both of them at the same time, then I would highly recommend using the Limitless now and the wild card in match day 13. If you end up enjoying this video, be sure to drop it a like. Let's try to get this to over 300. And we're also looking to push on towards 20,000 subscribers and beyond. Be sure to check out my best Limitless team video, the team selection, and the deadline stream on the Tuesday, which will commence 2 hours before kickoff between AC Milan and Inter Milan at the San Siro, with Inter Milan having the home advantage and, of course, the 2-0 cushion. Let's get straight into this video, talk about the best 15-man squad, talk about the budget, the captaincy options, the best players to target and clubs, and let's get straight into this. We have 4 goalkeepers to choose from: Courtois, Onana, Maignan and Ederson, and I would go for the first 2. They've got the most points amongst any goalkeeper so far in this Champions League campaign. Maignan is playing in a struggling AC Milan side who aren't scoring enough goals, not getting enough victories, and they're still leaking in the occasional goal here and there. Ederson is a bit of a troll in FPL and sometimes in UCL Fantasy too. Courtois has the highest ceiling, Onana as well, and Courtois is definitely capable of saving penalties too. You look at these 2 sides as well, Inter Milan and Real Madrid, they're very solid. Whilst you maybe give Man City the edge over Real Madrid, you can also cover Man City in a different way defensively, so that's not really going to be a big deal. They play on different days. Make sure you also are aware of that. Even if you go for Maignan and Ederson, you can't just go for 2 goalkeepers playing in the same match, otherwise you're going to miss out on points potentially from one of your goalkeepers because you're not able to sub them on during the substitution window. Inter Milan have won 7 games in a row across all competitions. They're unbeaten in 8, and Real Madrid also been keeping quite a few clean sheets in the last month or 2. So I think these 2 are self-explanatory. They also feature in the best Limitless team video and in the videos last week, and I'd highly recommend going for both of them if you can. In this wildcard squad, I've gone very heavy on Inter Milan defensively. We've got 3 defenders and Onana, so technically a quadruple Inter Milan defence, which might be a step too far. And if Rafael Leao returns for the second leg and AC Milan will have nothing to lose, this could be extremely risky because whilst Inter Milan could reach the Champions League final, you will probably have to cut down on them anyway heading into matchday 13, and you also have the potential AC Milan comeback, or at least them getting a goal or 2 to make things difficult for them, and you don't get UCL fantasy points and the clean sheets in the process. But I've gone for Darmian, Bastoni and DiMarco. I think they're the 3 best Inter Milan defenders. Darmian's nailed on, very good for ball recovery. He's probably the best of the 3. Bastoni's the most nailed on, although he is also the most expensive. And as for DiMarco, he's got the most attacking threat. He got an assist in the first leg, but Gosens has returned from injury, so DiMarco could be coming off around 60 minutes as he did in the weekend against Sassuolo for Gosens, and there could be rotation in that position, and there could also be the odd frustrating 59th minute substitution, which would mean DiMarco doesn't get the clean sheet points or the additional appearance point, and that could be very frustrating. Theo Hernandez is in here just to cover AC Milan, and he's got the attacking threat, but you could make a case for going for Eder Militao or John Stones instead, and not going for any AC Milan coverage at all. I wouldn't be completely against that, but I still think Theo Hernandez is probably the best AC Milan asset overall, even if Rafael Leao returns, who's probably in the top 2, and you've also got Maignan, who makes up the top 3 of the best AC Milan options. But Theo Hernandez is in here, you don't need to go for him to be fair, and I've gone for Ruben Dias, who's nailed on. He gets a lot of ball recovery points, and whilst his attacking threat isn't that great in general, and you could go for John Stones instead, I still think Ruben Dias could be worth the extra millions over his other Man City defenders, and this is generally a very solid back 5. But the only thing I would consider changing is either trimming down on Inter Milan defensively or replacing Theo Hernandez entirely. One of the key differences between the best wildcard and Limitless squads in matchday 12 would be this midfielder. Instead of going for Rodri, you can go for Mahrez or a Gundogan on the Limitless, but we have to abide by a budget in this team, and my team value is actually pretty good overall, and some of you may not be able to afford this exact 50-man squad, and that's where you can consider some alternatives. And I think Ruben Dias down to John Stones or an even cheaper defender is on the cards, and also Theo Hernandez could be downgraded because he's not worth that much money at this moment in time, and even Bastoni could be downgraded to an Acerbi as well. So you've got plenty of options, and I think the main downgrades I would make is probably in the back line. But in the midfield, I would go for this exact midfield 5 on the wild card. Kevin De Bruyne and Vinicius Jr. have to be in it. I don't think De Bruyne deserved the Man of the Match award in the first leg, but he scored that great goal, which was the equaliser for Man City, and it was very important in this tie. It could well send them through to the Champions League final, and Kevin De Bruyne is a sensational player, an assist machine. He can get the odd goal too, so we all know how good Kevin De Bruyne is. He has to be in it. Vinicius Jr. hasn't blanked in any single start he's had in the Champions League this season, so don't go without him. I think it'd just be a big mistake at this point, and Rodrigo is a big game player. So those three midfielders I would say are essential pretty much. And the other two are solid options. I should have gone for Calhanoglu and backed my gut from Matchday 11. He got a 7-pointer there against AC Milan. He is really good for assists, even the odd ball recovery point here and there, and he can get Man of the Match awards, as he did in both legs against Porto in the round of 16. And as for Rodri, he averages 4 points per game with his ball recoveries, and he can get the odd goal, which, to be fair, in the Champions League he's only scored once, which was that incredible strike against Bayern Munich, but he is capable of some big goals for Manchester City. And I think this midfield 5 is very solid. If you're looking for a cheap midfielder at 6.2 million or below, Rodri's your man, especially with Benacer being injured. He picked that up against Inter Milan in the first leg, but the rest is definitely very solid. And of course, you want to invest more money in your forward line and midfield if you can, and have a balance throughout your entire 15-man squad. And once again, if you can't afford everything we're going for here, downgrade one of your defenders, and I'd mainly look at Theo Hernandez there in order to facilitate going for this exact squad. I don't think we can have too many debates about the forward line. I would go for this exact three with Benzema, Haaland and Lautaro Martinez, despite the fact there was Dzeko who was the main man for Inter Milan up front. But Lautaro Martinez has the form. He's got a good record against AC Milan, and even off the bench he can score goals. He will start alongside Edin Dzeko most likely. We'll get the lineups, of course, during the deadline stream, but I'm fairly confident Lautaro Martinez is probably the third best striker behind Erling Haaland and Karim Benzema, who have to be in your team. I know they were disappointing in the first leg, and it was a bit of a ripple effect. Maybe one of us captain Benzema or Haaland, and then you captain Lautaro Martinez on the second day, and you just got blanks in between all three of them. And I think it's going to be really difficult to nail on the captaincy. If you get 6 or 7 points on the first day, I think that's enough really to not switch and just hold on to that, because it's going to be very difficult at this stage to get a double-digit return. If it happens, fair play, enjoy the points. There is a degree of luck involved in my opinion as well, especially with the Man of the Match awards, which are a bit flawed. You know, sometimes you look at a game like Real Madrid versus Man City, I thought Vinicius Jr. deserved it, maybe Camavinga. In the end, they gave it to Kevin De Bruyne, and that's it. And speaking of Camavinga, he picked up a nasty injury against Getafe, and that could be very worrying. He was subbed off just before the end of the game, and I think it's a knee problem. So let's wait and see if he's good, because that could be a big blow for Real Madrid in the left-back position, and he actually played in the midfield against Getafe, so that could be a huge concern there for Los Merengues. But this is the 50-man squad I've gone for. In terms of the captaincy, I would go for an Inter Milan player on the first day. You could take your pick. Even a defender could be on the cards for the captaincy, but I'd probably go for Lautaro Martinez or Calhanoglu. And on the Wednesday, I would go for a Man City attacker in Erling Haaland or Kevin De Bruyne, but do not rule out Benzema, Rodrigo or Vinicius Jr. as I've discussed before. But thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it or found it useful, smash the like button and subscribe for new. Let's try to get this video to over 300 likes. Let's keep on pushing towards 20,000 subscribers and beyond. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, DylanRCM, and check all the links in the description below for the Patreon, channel memberships, Discord server and the UCL Fantasy League. All of that is there. I wish you all the best of luck for the rest of the Champions League competition. There's not long left now, and I'll see you next time.